Two balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swing and a drive, deep left field. This is way back. Walk the ball. Chris Taylor.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into Dodger Heads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Matthew Moreno, and I'm filling in for Jeff. And I'm joined by Blake Williams. Blake, I know we're only a couple days into 2023, but how's it treating you so far?
It's been pretty good. Just spending some time with the family, relaxing a bit. We played some Jeopardy and had fun doing that. So
that's been good. Always good. That's always good. Can you divulge if you came out on top in those Jeopardy games?
It wasn't close. I dominated that.
Good. Wouldn't expect anything less. So let's get into today's video, and it's about Carlos Correa, which is, I know he's a polarizing subject amongst Dodgers fans. And a couple weeks ago, it seemed like he was going to be signing with the Giants, and fans were going to be able to boo him at X amount of times per year for the next, I think it was 13 years, right? And he was going to be somebody that they could love to hate, even more so than his history with the Astros. But then the physical was flagged by the Giants medical team, and that deal came undone. And I know that there were some jokes at the expense of their front office and some questions as to whether or not maybe they just got cold feet and didn't want to spend that money. Correa quickly agreed to terms with the Mets. Steve Cohen obviously has been on a big spending spree this offseason, but then their medical staff flagged Correa's physical and his, kind of reviewing his records and all that. And so now here we are in the new year. He's still unsigned, and maybe some of that is just a matter of where the calendar and the holidays and stuff like that, because I know there is still a general expectation that they'll work something out with the Mets. But in the meantime, considering everything that's gone on, do you think the Dodgers should try to kind of get back into the picture with him?
Yeah, if they have an opening and they can get in there, they should try it. He's such a really good player. I mean, obviously the cheating scandal is kind of a concern there, but I feel like for that kind of talent, you can kind of make an exception for that. We've seen them make exceptions before, and a lot of teams do it. But he's just a really good player. So if you can get him for 5 to 7 years or somewhere in that range, it's worth exploring.
Now, I know we've had multiple videos with obviously Jeff hosting. I've been on with him. We've had Scott on, who's been he's been stumping for Carlos Correa from the very beginning. I forget where you have fallen. Have you always been in favor of the Dodgers maybe signing him, or has your opinion changed recently?
I wasn't in favor on a long-term deal because he has had durability questions in the past, and now that the two medical teams have questioned him even more, that's concerning. But I don't think there's really such thing as a bad short-term deal. So if you can get him around 5 years or just some kind of high AAV short-term deal, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. For me, I mean, it's clear where I stand. I don't think he's necessarily somebody they should look to sign. 5 years, I don't know if I would do that. For me, if it was going to be a quote unquote short term, I would definitely look for more of 3 or 4 years. And frankly, if the Mets do have interest in still getting something done with him, which I think Steve Cohen does, I don't see Correa, sort of needing to resort to a short term contract. But I think, it's also interesting for the Dodgers too, now having this conversation with the Trevor Bauer ruling has come down with his suspension being reduced, and he's, he was reinstated effective immediately. And the Dodgers obviously have until January 6th to make the 40-man roster decision. But at minimum, it seems like they're going to have to pay him a portion of his salary, right? And that's short of a surprising trade where maybe a team agrees to take it on. So essentially, the Dodgers are basically at the luxury tax threshold, and they still have needs on their roster. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, they need a center fielder. They could use a shortstop. They don't seem to think it's a need, but I feel like most people do think it's a need. So they could still use upgrades, and they probably need another starting pitcher too. So
right. So I guess then that's a nice kind of segue into the next question I'm going to throw at you is, considering all of that, and specifically the Trevor Bauer situation, and knowing where financially that has fallen, since the Dodgers pretty much are up against the luxury tax threshold, are you more willing to, I mean, I know that I guess I should rephrase it, because you're somebody who, like me, agreed, why are you guys staying under it anyway? Just, put the best team together. But considering what their approach has sort of been, do you think it's worth it now at this point to just kind of go past it, since they're likely going to end up, $1 million or $2 million over it with the current roster as it is, once you factor in, the benefits and all the different stuff?
Yeah, like you said, I've been pushing for them to go over the luxury tax every year. I don't think the penalties matter as much as they seem to make them out to be. So they're so close to it and they need upgrades at this point. You just kind of have to push through it. And if they're saving for Ohtani, you're still gonna have to pay Ohtani next year. Like they're gonna go over it at some point again. You can get back under it in the future. There's just no point in staying under it right now, especially with how competitive the Padres are, how competitive the Braves and Mets are. It's tough in the NL right now, and they should be spending and trying to compete with those teams.
Yeah, those are great points. So we'll end with this. I'll put you on the spot a little bit. What's your kind of perfect contract terms for Correa, or what's the bar that you would kind of set and say, this is our best offer, we're not going to go past it?
I mean, perfect is like 1 year, 40 million or something like that. I mean, my best offer would probably be 5 years, 30 million, average annual value, somewhere around there.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, that's it from us. We'd love to hear what you guys would think. Has your opinion changed on what the Dodgers should do with Carlos Correa? Are you willing to even do a long-term contract if that's what it would take? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and rate and review our YouTube channel. We're also on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and we appreciate reviews there as well. Thanks. We'll see you next time.